So the UFC just announced a new branding partnership with the website Crypto.com that will have their logos plastered on all the gear that the fighters will be wearing from now on. Ariel Helwani tweeted that Crypto.com is now UFC's first ever global official fight kit partner. Crypto.com will have their branding on UFC uniforms worn by fighters as well as uniforms worn by cornermen. But this is where things get interesting. This Crypto.com deal has been reported to be $175 million agreement that will last 10 years. So with that insane amount of money and the fact that the fighters will be wearing the gear with their giant logo on it, you would think it would be a huge pay increase for the fighters. Well, the fact is that the fighters will not be getting a single cut from the deal. Here's what the ESPN article said. Fighters will not get a direct cut of the UFC's deal with Crypto.com. However, they will be able to broker individual deals with the cryptocurrency company and be used as paid brand ambassadors. UFC fighters are not unionized and have no collective bargaining agreement, so they are not entitled to a share of the revenue on these types of deals. The UFC screwing over their fighters is nothing new. It seems every year there's a popular fighter who is unhappy with the revenue split and calls for a fighters union. It always falls apart though because everybody has a price. We saw it last year with Jorge Masvidal calling out the UFC for their low revenue split with the athletes, but he got his payday, so union talks faded away. So let's look at Dana White's official statement on the partnership. He said, "This is a partnership between two companies that are the best at what they do. No company has done more to grow the popularity of combat sports than UFC. And now we are one of the biggest sports brands on the planet. We can help Crypto.com reach more people around the world through the strength of our brand." The new fight kit will debut this weekend at UFC 264. Let me know your thoughts on the whole situation in the comments. Now to the next story coming from Dana White, who has a message to all the people who are criticizing him for booking Lewis vs. Gane for the interim title. Speaking to MMA Junkie, Dana tells everybody to shut the F up and let him do his job. Here's what he said.
I put on fights every Saturday. You want to fight? I got fights for you. You don't want to fight? No problem. You don't have to fight. So what we got now is we actually have the guy who beat Francis Ngannou taking on the undefeated up-and-comer in Houston for the interim title. And whoever wins, they can fight Francis when it's time, right? It's a great fight.
It does.
It's the fight that makes sense. It's the two best heavyweights in the world that aren't the heavyweight champion. If anything, this will make the title fight even bigger when these guys fight. It'll be champion versus champion. And if Derek Lewis wins, Derek Lewis is the guy who beat him. You know, Cyril Gane has never fought him and he's undefeated, which means if he beats Derek Lewis, the guy who beat Francis Ngannou, and he's still undefeated going in against Francis Ngannou, that's pretty fucking exciting.
That is pretty exciting.
Why doesn't everybody just shut the fuck up and let me do what I've been doing for the last 20 years? If you want to fight, I got fights every Saturday. If you don't want to fight, no problem. Fly around the world, go on fucking vacations, and do whatever the hell you want to do. And when you're ready to fight, we'll be here.
Moving on to the next story, Colby Covington has finally released the sparring footage that he's been hyping up for a while now. Colby claims that this video would expose Dustin Poirier as a bad guy.
I have a video of him knocking out an amateur in the gym, and he's celebrating, dancing around, yelling in the guy's face, and new, woo! Dustin, who are you trying to impress? Dude, it's a closed practice. You're knocking out a guy that came to help you, and it's an amateur. You knock this kid out, give him a concussion, leave him, senseless, his head shaking. You're yelling in his face?
Colby tweeted, "The guy wearing full Nerf gear head to toe to protect his face and his feelings is Poirier. The guy with no headgear, no wrestling credentials or brain cells left is, quote, Khabib. Dustin Poirier good guy, bad guy? You be the judge." Let's see the clip.
Tá correndo, joga frontal, entendeu? Pode dar, olha, gira. Tá bem? Good cross. Eu falei pra você, pode sair. And go!
Dustin responded to the video saying that his training partner is a pro fighter with 20 wins. The guy sparring Dustin is Felipe Douglas, who has a record of 16 wins and 5 losses. Speaking to MMAfighting.com, Felipe Douglas defends his teammate Dustin Poirier. He said this, "It was an intense sparring session and things like that can happen in sparring. There are some people saying I wasn't wearing gear, but there was no reason to wear training gear because Dustin trains well. He's not mean. He hits hard, and like in a fight, he caught me and knocked me down. The corner man took me off the cage and didn't let me go back. As far as his celebration, people saying he was making fun, that's the mindset of a guy that is fighting for the belt. I didn't consider it disrespectful. I don't do it, but that's his mindset, envisioning the fight. He was about to fight for the belt, that's his life. Jorge Masvidal also stepped in to call out Covington. He tweeted, "Why don't you post a video of Dustin Poirier dropping you with the body shot? Always hating on people with power." Now speaking of Jorge Masvidal, Ariel Helwani tweeted that Masvidal is targeting a return in October/November against either Nick Diaz or Colby Covington. The next story is Conor McGregor, who is trying to get under the skin of Dustin Poirier on Twitter. First, Conor posted a voice message on Twitter directed at Dustin. Let's hear what the voice message said.
Dustin, P-head, I'm coming for you, P-head, silly hillbilly.
The next thing Conor posted was a screenshot of an Instagram direct message request from Dustin's wife, Jolie Poirier. Conor is getting personal, trying to drag Dustin's wife into the feud. If I had to guess, I'd say Dustin's wife was just trying to get a hold of Conor for that charity donation that he promised months ago to their foundation. But what do you think Conor is trying to insinuate by posting this screenshot? The next story comes from Dustin Poirier, who says taking the McGregor fight over the title fight was an easy decision. Speaking to Brett Okamoto, Dustin says he's getting paid 10 times the money that he would have gotten for the title fight. He also says he's getting pay-per-view points in this fight against McGregor when the title fight offered none. Here's what he said.
Because there were a lot of people who were like campaigning for you, like, hey, Dustin deserves a title fight. And they said you picked Conor. Is that accurate, and how did you make that decision?
I made that decision pretty easily. If I'm the best in the world, then I'm gonna beat Conor and fight for the belt. I just kind of like, it's like doubling down on yourself. You know, I'm a gambling man, and I believe in my skills in fighting. So I just doubled down. That's all it was. I mean, I don't know how much you want to get into the actual contractual stuff with this, but me fighting for the belt, I wouldn't have got pay-per-view. I would have got a, base salary of probably not even a third of my base salary for this fight. It just doesn't make sense. I'm a prize fighter. I don't want to put the UFC on blast or put the numbers or the way we do deals and make it a big thing like that, talking to you about it.
Sure.
Hopefully you guys don't, spin it into that.
Sure.
You're asking me a question, I'm giving you answers. If I'm going to make 5, 6, 7, 10 times the amount of money to fight Conor again, like I said, I'm a father and a husband, and I have priorities.
It's obviously
Wouldn't have got pay-per-view points for the title fight. Conor fight, I had pay-per-view points built in, so it's like, there's no question.
That about wraps up the video for today. Let me know what you thought about the video. Leave a like if you thought it was good. But anyways, have a great day and enjoy Fight Week.